You know, I've seen two revenge movies this year. One with Bruce Willis, and one without Bruce Willis. The one with him, of course, was Death Wish, which I kind of enjoyed. It seemed like a more grounded terror type of feel. And then there was Peppermint, which I just got out of. That felt more like a Bruce Willis revenge movie. First off, take logic out the freaking window when you see this thing. Because if any of you know the slightest bit of anything in terms of weaponry, common sense, police procedures, or just how the world should actually work, you will not enjoy this movie. I can see why the critics are giving this thing a lambasting on Rotten Tomatoes. Mostly because I think the critics on Rotten Tomatoes need to take their head firmly out of their hindquarter. But that's besides the point. Whereas the audience can actually sit back and enjoy this thing. Now, some could make the claim that, oh, this is just them women trying to take the role of men in action movies. Women can't be action stars. They are wrong. They can be if properly done and properly written. Case in point, Ripley from Aliens was amazing. Other case in point, Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road was equally amazing. Rey from the Star Wars film, have you been watching my videos? She's a garbage Mary Sue character who has no personality whatsoever. And Rian Johnson, if you ever find this, I still give a hearty F you to everything you have said about the fan base. Hashtag still salty. But no. And all jokes aside, Peppermint is actually a pretty enjoyable film if you can just overlook the craziness. It's a popcorn action film with popcorn action style combat. And yes, it's edited highly. You're not going to get the blood and gore and the swearing you're going to see from a Die Hard film. But for what it's worth, it's okay. And for actually kind of the ironicism, because I can't remember her name, I feel bad. But the main actress in this is a heavy supporter of enforcing new gun registration, a whole bunch of extra laws, and all this other thing. Not a big fan of the NRA. And the fact that she's playing a character in this who, fair enough, they actually give her one aspect that a lot of women kind of need in these types of films. She has a boatload of guns. She knows what she needs and what to get out of it. Because, sad to say, once again, Gen X takes a fact into this, women are not as strong as men and not as fast in terms of muscular capability. So they have to compensate with actual technique and being able to be smart in combat. And she is. She uses misdirection, a lot of quick, subtle movements, and uses a lot of her surrounding environment to her advantage. She outsmarts the enemy instead of trying to outpower them. In fact, when she does try to go toe-to-toe with somebody, unless she's got a weapon in her hand to augment her ability, she's getting her butt whooped, which is sadly what the case would probably be. But she handles herself well, and the fight scenes are enjoyable. And they're spread evenly out enough that by the time one gets a little bit too fed up, you've got a lull period for the next one. Now, there are some criticisms with this movie, to be sure. First off, the name Peppermint. People have been asking, why is it called Peppermint? Well, in the original trailer, she's got this little, nursery rhyme cutesy saying she says to her daughter, who is 10 in this movie, which now that I know that, kind of makes that, a little weird, but meh. And the ending phrase is, and she has peppermint in her butt. I'm guessing it's supposed to be a term of endearment, I guess. But that's where the term peppermint came from. I thought it was going to be because that was one of the last things she says. It sticks out in her mind, and therefore, might come out through the movie. Who knows? Nope, not in the movie. Not even close. In fact, for a revenge movie, the first, 5 kills, with the exception of one of them, technically, you don't see. The main people she wants revenge on, we don't see. And it's kind of almost scary when you think about this woman, because she's unhinged. We're talking Roy Harper at the end of Rise of Arsenal unhinged. We're seeing the ghost daughter. We're seeing the hallucinations. The only thing missing is her to literally hold a dead cat thinking it's his daughter, or in this case her daughter, trying to get high off of heroin. Which, considering what she goes through and is able to keep walking, she's got to be on something. Either massive amounts of adrenaline, which are a real thing, but eventually you do deplete yourself, or she's on some form of freaking steroid or freaking massive narcotic. Because she gets worked over in this film. And this entire movie takes over the course of maybe a day, 2 days. Like, there's a 3-month setup period that they talk about, but it's just brutal. And once again, it's PG-13 brutal, but you take what you can. So, besides the fact that it feels very disconjointed in the beginning, a lot of it seems like it's missing, it's still enjoyable. Once it gets rolling, once it gets past the first act stumble, I would like to call it, it actually gets pretty good. And they do this thing in the beginning that I'm getting tired of, the whole, we're going to flash ahead to show you a scene and then we're going to show you how they got there. Just tell the story. Look, just because Christopher Nolan can do it doesn't mean you're able to do it. And to be honest, Christopher Nolan's kind of losing that edge of his, but that's neither here nor there. Instead, this is actually something that kind of takes away from the movie as a whole. But you kind of get over it. Once you get to the second act of the film and it gets into its role and you've embraced that logic goes out the window here, it's kind of enjoyable and fun to watch. So, you can kind of see where I'm torn with this thing. As an actual critical movie critic, as I'm trying to be, with my personal feelings taken out of it, if I look at this thing from like an actual essay or research purpose, this thing is horribly written, horribly done. The shots sometimes aren't setting up right. Character motivations seem to change out of nowhere, including something I was anticipating, which kind of was right and kind of wrong, because I was expecting the straightforward, not the red herring double flip, but anyone who sees this movie can basically tell what I'm going to refer to. It's just makes no sense because it contradicts what they're doing in the beginning and kind of their actions around it. So, what do? I mean, like, literally, what do? It seems like they had a setup and then flip it. It seems like they wanted to tell a bigger story, but they were limited by their time. Because this is a short movie. Like, in and out, 2 hours, with trailers. So, clearly something was left on the cutting room floor, because without the opening kills of the actual vengeance we want to see, you kind of feel disjointed, and you kind of feel like this is not really a hero we're watching, but just a woman who's clearly off her mind. Like, she's openly attacking innocent bystanders, and yes, they may not be good human beings, fair enough, but they haven't committed a crime. You have no proof, or at least show some proof. Like, she kills people in this who really, we don't know right off the bat they're bad. And even if they are corrupt, and we're saying corrupt is a bad thing, they haven't killed people, we assume. Like killing the drug dealers and the cartel and their men and the Korean mafia, the people who are openly armed and trying to kill people, fine. But a possible corrupt judge, a possible corrupt DA, well yeah, a corrupt as all hell defense attorney that you see in the trailer, they don't really seem to warrant the, mass murdering, violent stuff she does to them. Get them arrested, most definitely. And that's kind of the thing. She's not a hero. She's not, you can say a vigilante, because that's exactly what she is. But a hero is someone who goes with the law and doesn't try to become the monster they're fighting. It's why Batman doesn't kill. Except in the Zack Snyderverse. So, when the ending rolls around, they give her the hero ending instead of the vigilante ending. And I thought they were going to do that. It's led up to where this seems kind of believable, kind of. Once again, suspend your disbelief. And it seems like she's going to be punished. No. They do the hero ending, so kind of ruins a little bit of it. It's kind of like you could have stopped at such a good point and it would have been fine. You didn't need all this. Or heck, there was even an out. There was a possible callback you could have done to exploit the system in your favor. The exact same defense they used to get the people off, you could have done the same thing. But no, they go for the half-ass and the lazy style ending just to wrap it all up. So, once again, I can see where the people saying this is bad. I can see where the people saying this is good. It's enjoyable. And that's kind of what you're looking for. If you're looking for Death Wish without Bruce Willis, sadly he's not in it, guys, but a female-esque style Bruce Willis, like if he was actually doing this back in the 90s, you want the more action? You'll get it. You want the more clearly evil people who are just evil for evil's sake? You'll get it. You want to see brutal mob stuff that you would imagine this would be on, what was that, Breaking Bad? You'll get that. So there's a lot of stuff to be enjoyed, just I can't definitively say it's good, guys. Not something you need to see in theaters, in all honesty, because of the cuts and everything. You can definitely see this thing on TNT. In fact, over the weekend I was able to see London Has Fallen on TNT. and it looked exactly the same it was in the movie theater, so you're not going to miss much. So, wait till this thing's on cable, definitely worthy of a watch. Netflix, fine. Redbox. But because of how enjoyable actually it was, I can almost say matinee. I know, it's a bit disjointed, but that's truly what I feel. So, yeah. Got The Nun, got Peppermint. Next week, or this week, technically. I'm not sure. A lot of interesting stuff, if I remember correctly, from the docket. Should be fun. Should be able to find something good for you guys. Well, anyway. As always, this is Kevin Riley signing off, and I'll see you all next time. Later.